We are discussing physical world and measurement. So, in the last session, we looked at significant figures and rounding of numbers. Now, let us try to understand something what is known as errors of measurement. Whenever we measure something, there is a possibility for errors to creep in. We are all aware that measuring is nothing but a process which is essentially a process of comparison. To measure any physical quantity, we compare it with a standard, what we call as a unit, a standard of that quantity. No measurement is perfect because the errors involved in the process cannot be removed completely. So, therefore, in spite of our best efforts, the measured value of a quantity is always somewhat different from its actual value or true value, what we call as. Therefore, this difference in the true value and the measured value of a quantity is what is called error of measurement. There are various types of errors. They can be classified into systematic errors, random errors, and gross errors. So let us understand systematic error. These are the errors whose causes are known. Such errors, therefore, can be minimized. Now, in that, again, you have instrumental errors, personal errors, and error due to imperfection. Now, systematic errors are those errors whose causes are known, therefore, we can minimize or reduce. Now, in that, let us see what is meant by instrumental errors. Instrumental errors may be due to the imperfection of design and erroneous manufacturing of the instruments. Often, there may be zero error in the instrument. The instrumental errors can be reduced by using more accurate instruments and applying zero correction when required. So, obviously, such errors cannot be eliminated altogether anyway. When you look at personal errors, which is yet another type of systematic error, personal error may be due to the inexperience of the observer. For example, lack of proper setting of the operators or reading an instrument without observing proper precautions and so on. So these errors can be obviously be minimized. If you look at the other type of error in systematic errors, this is error due to imperfection. Error due to imperfection arises on account of ignoring certain facts. For example, error in weighing arising out of buoyancy is usually ignored. Again, at another example, you can take radiation error in experiments on heat is ignored. Proper corrections can be applied for all such errors. Similarly, another type of error under systematic error is what is basically what we call as external error, apart from these three. External errors. So these errors due to external causes, due to changes in temperature, pressure, humidity, etc. during the experiment. So relevant corrections can be applied to minimize errors due to external causes. This is what we need to know about systematic errors. Now when you look at the concept called random errors, now systematic errors are those errors whose cause is known. Whereas when you take random errors, these errors may arise due to large variety of factors. The causes of such errors are therefore not known precisely. Therefore, it is not possible to eliminate the random errors. So, the random errors sometimes are called the chance errors. For example, when the same person repeats the same observation, he may get different readings every time. So random errors can be minimized by repeating the observation a large number of times and taking the arithmetic mean of all the observations. So the mean value would be very close to the most accurate reading. So when the number of observations is made, let us say n times, the random error reduces to 1 by n times. For example, if random error in the arithmetic mean of 100 observation is x, then the random error in the arithmetic mean of 400 observations would be x by 4. That's how random errors have to be dealt with. When you look at something called gross error, so these errors arise on the account of sheer carelessness of the observer. For example, reading an instrument without setting it properly, taking the observations wrongly without caring for the source of errors and the precautions, recording the observations wrongly, using the wrong values of observations and calculations. All these errors will come under gross errors, which can be minimized only when the observer is very sincere and alert mentally. Then only you can minimize such type of gross errors. Now let us see what are the mathematical methods through which we can eliminate these errors when we do certain experiments. Now let us understand what is meant by absolute error. Now absolute error is the measurement of a physical quantity, which is nothing but the magnitude of difference between true value and measured value of the quantity. So the magnitude of difference of true value and measured value of the quantity is what is known as absolute error. Let us say, for example, a physical quantity is measured n times, and let the measured values will be, let us say, A1, A2, A3, etc., AN. Now we can calculate the arithmetic mean of all these values, as arithmetic mean of this is AM equal to A1 plus A2 plus etc. AN by N. So you can write this as, by taking 1 by n as common out, AM equal to 1 by n into sigma. Sigma I equal to 1 to n of AI. So you can write the arithmetic mean of these values. Now normally what happens is AM is taken as true value of the quantity. If the same is not known otherwise. But by definition, absolute error in the measured values of quantities could be like this. Delta A1, that is mean minus A1, AM minus A1. Delta A2, AM minus A2. Delta A3, AM minus A3, etc. Delta AN, AM minus AN. So the absolute error, it may be either positive in certain cases and negative in certain other cases. So this is what is meant by absolute error. Now let us focus on mean absolute error. Now it is the arithmetic mean of the magnitudes of absolute errors in all the measurements of the quantity. Now here, while taking the arithmetic mean, we ignore the sign plus or minus of absolute errors. So it is represented by bar delta A. So therefore, it can be written as, if the quantity is measured n times, so bar delta A equal to delta A1 plus magnitude of delta A1 plus magnitude of delta A2, etc. plus magnitude of delta AN divided by n. So you can write this simply by taking 1 by n out. Bar delta A equal to 1 by n into sigma I to 1 n of I equal to 1 to n of magnitude of delta AI. Now hence, therefore, the final result of measurement may be written as what? So A is equal to AM, then is arithmetic mean plus or minus mean absolute error. Okay? So this is how you can write. So it means what? Any measurement naturally lie between AM plus delta bar delta A or and as well as AM minus bar delta. So these are the limits. So this is what we need to know about mean absolute error. Let us focus on relative error. Relative error also sometimes referred to as fractional error. So relative error or fractional error of a measurement is defined as the ratio of mean absolute error to the mean value of quantity that is measured. That is, relative error is nothing but mean absolute error divided by mean value. So mathematically, it is bar delta A by AM. Okay. So when this relative fractional error is expressed in percentage, we call it as percentage error. So therefore that can be represented like this. Bar delta A by AM into 100%. This is a percentage error representation. Now there is something called combination of errors. Combination of errors is also known as propagation. We know that the result of any experiment is calculated by performing certain mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, indexing, that is like raising to the power, etc. And several measurements which have different degrees of accuracy. So to calculate the net error in the result, we should study how errors propagate in different mathematical operations. So therefore, let us understand the combination of errors in an experimental process. We study that in 5 different operations like errors possible in summing of quantities, and possible errors in difference of quantities, product of quantities, division of quantities, raising to the power. Let us see one after the other. So in that series, the first one is error in the sum of quantities. For that, let us suppose there is an equation. X equal to, we are adding two quantities. X equal to A plus B. Let this be equation 1. Now, in each of these terms, let us suppose the absolute error in the quantity A is delta A. Absolute error in quantity B is delta B. Absolute error in quantity X is delta X. Okay. Now, delta X is the absolute error in the calculation of X, that is sum of A and B. Now, by using this equation, so we can write therefore as X plus or minus delta X equal to A plus or minus delta A plus B plus or minus delta A. Right? Let us expand and simplify as A plus B plus or minus delta A plus or minus delta B. What is A plus B? X only. So therefore, you can write it as X plus or minus delta A plus or minus delta B. So on either side, you can strike off X and write it as plus or minus delta X is equal to plus or minus delta A plus or minus delta B. Now if you see this process, you got 4 possible values for delta X here. What are the possible values for delta X here? These are the 4 possible values for delta X here. What are that? Plus delta A plus delta B, plus delta A minus delta B, minus delta A plus delta B, minus delta A minus delta B. So these are the possible values of delta X. So therefore, the maximum absolute error in X is what? Delta X equal to plus or minus delta A plus or minus delta B. So therefore, from this we can conclude that the maximum absolute error in sum of two quantities is equal to sum of absolute errors in the individual quantities. Delta is the absolute error in quantity A. Delta B is the absolute error in quantity B. So you got it as sum of those quantities. So therefore this is the absolute error in the quantity. This is the sum. So therefore from this we concluded that the maximum absolute error in sum of two quantities is equal to sum of the absolute errors in the individual quantities. So this is how we have to understand error in sum of the quantities. Let us look at error in difference of the quantities. Similar procedure we adopt here also. Let us say x equal to a minus b. A and b are two quantities, we are taking the difference. So x equal to a minus b. So as usual, absolute error in quantity A is taken as delta A, absolute error in quantity B is taken as delta B, absolute error in quantity x is taken as delta x. So by putting all these values here, we will have x plus or minus delta x equal to a plus or minus delta a minus of b plus or minus delta b. Now if we expand, this will be a minus b plus or minus delta a. Now this minus of plus, therefore you can write as minus plus. So therefore it will be a minus b plus or minus delta a minus plus delta b. What is a minus b? A minus b is x only. So you can write therefore x plus or minus delta x equal to x plus or minus delta a minus plus delta b. Now you can strike off x on either side. You will have plus or minus delta x equal to plus or minus delta a minus plus delta b. So therefore, the possible values of delta x from this could be, four possible values are plus delta a minus delta b, minus delta a minus delta b, plus delta a minus plus delta b, and minus delta a plus delta b. So these are the four possible values of delta x from this. So therefore, what is the maximum absolute error in x? Is nothing but delta x equal to plus or minus delta a plus delta b. So from this, how you can conclude? So in the case of difference of two quantities, the maximum absolute error in the difference of two quantities is equal to sum of absolute errors in the individual quantities. So this is how we can measure the absolute error in the case of difference of two quantities. Let us see what happens when we take a product. So let us look at the error in the product of quantities. So as usual, take one expression. Let us say A and B are two quantities. A, B is the product. So let x equal to A into B. Let this be equation 1. And we are taking absolute error in quantity A as delta A, absolute error in quantity B as delta B, absolute error in quantity x equal to delta x. X equal to nothing but A and B. Now putting them in equation 1, we will have x plus or minus delta x is equal to a plus or minus delta a into b plus or minus delta a. A plus or minus delta a into b plus or minus delta b. Now you take x common out here on the left hand side. Therefore you can write this as x into 1 plus or minus delta x by x equal to, here you take a common out, here you take b common out. A into 1 plus or minus delta a by a into b into 1 plus or minus delta b by b. Okay. Now here you can write this right hand side. You can write as ab into, rest you can write as 1 plus or minus delta a by a plus or minus delta b by b plus or minus delta a by a delta b by b. Now ab is again nothing but x only. So therefore put x. So you can write that as, so x into 1 plus or minus delta x by x equal to, for AB you can write x into 1 plus or minus delta a by a plus or minus delta b by b plus or minus delta a by a delta b by b. So you can strike off x on either side and write it as 1 plus or minus delta x by x equal to 1 plus or minus delta a by a plus delta b by plus or minus delta b by b plus or minus delta a by a into delta b by b. Again you can strike off 1 here on either side. Then you will have plus or minus delta x by x equal to plus or minus delta a by a plus or minus delta b by b plus or minus delta a by a into delta b by b. Here in this expression, both delta a by a and delta b by b are very small. So when they are very small, the product can be neglected. This can be neglected. So therefore, you can simplify this equation as plus or minus delta x by x equal to plus or minus delta a by a plus or minus delta b by b. So therefore, what are the maximum possible values here? Again, you will have 4 possible values are for delta x by x, you have plus delta a by a plus delta b by b plus delta a by a minus delta b by b minus delta a by a plus delta b by b minus delta a by a minus delta b by b. These are the possible values for delta x by x. So therefore, the maximum possible value of delta x by x is nothing but plus or minus delta a by a plus delta b by b. Now from this we can conclude that the maximum fractional error or relative error, delta x by x is nothing but that only, in the product of quantities is equal to the sum of fractional or relative errors in the individual quantities. This is how we can measure the errors in product of quantities. Let us see in division what happens. So for that, we have taken 2 quantities and their ratio is equated to x. Because it is a division, therefore let x equal to a by b. Let this be some equation number. Now we are taking absolute errors in a as delta a, absolute error in b as delta b, absolute error in x is taken as delta x. X means absolute error in the ratio. Now putting these values in the equation, you will have x plus or minus delta x equal to a plus or minus delta a by b plus or minus delta b. Now here you can take x as common out. Similarly, you can take a as common and in the denominator you will take b as common. Then what happens? So that becomes, when you take x common out, x into 1 plus or minus delta x by x equal to, in the numerator if you take a common out, a into 1 plus or minus delta a by a divided by, in the denominator you are taking b common out, b into 1 plus or minus delta b by b. Now here you can take ab common out and then take it as x into 1 plus or minus delta x by x equal to a by b into 1 plus delta a by 1 plus or minus delta a by b by. Now the denominator, this is plus or minus. The denominator 1 plus or minus delta b by b, you can bring it, write it as 1 plus or minus delta b by b whole power minus 1. So instead of keeping in the denominator, you can write it as whole power minus 1. But delta b by b is much less than 1. So therefore, expanding binomially, what we will get here? X into 1 plus or minus delta x equal to a by b is nothing but x. X into 1 plus or minus delta a by a into 1 minus plus delta b by b. Minus 1 will go when you expand binomically because delta b by b is much less than 1. Now you can strike off x on either side and you will be left with 1 plus or minus delta x by x equal to 1 plus or minus delta a by a minus plus delta b by b. Plus or minus delta a by a delta b by b. This is, let us say, equation 2. Now when you observe this expression, both delta a by a and delta b by b, both are very small. So when they are independently small, then naturally their product, that is delta a by a into delta b by b, it may be taken as a negligibly very small quantity. So therefore, from equation 2 we can write plus or minus delta x by x equal to plus or minus delta a by a minus plus delta b by b. That's it. Now the possible values of delta x by x could be 4 possible values as usual, which are plus delta a by a minus delta b by b plus delta by a plus delta b by b minus delta A by A minus delta B by B minus delta A by A plus delta B by B. So these are the four possible values. So therefore from that the maximum value of delta x by x can be taken as plus or minus delta A by A plus delta B by B. Now so from this we can conclude that the maximum value of a relative error in division of quantities is nothing but sum of relative errors in individual quantities. So this is error in division. Let us see what could be the error in quantity raised to some power, indexing. So to look at error in index or raising to the quantity raised to some power, let the quantity be x be taken as a power m divided by b power m as equation 1. We are taking absolute error in the quantity A as delta A, absolute error in quantity B as delta B, and absolute error in quantity X is taken as delta X. Absolute error in X is nothing but A power n by B power m. So putting them in this above equation, now we take logarithm on both sides. Okay. So when you take logarithm, log of x equal to log of a by b, nothing but log a minus log b. So therefore this will be log of a power n minus log of b power m. Again, this is log a power b is equal to b log a. So similarly, applying that, it will become log x equal to log a power n is nothing but n log a minus m log b. Now differentiating this on both sides, so we will have this dx by x equal to n into dA by A minus m into dB by B. By differentiating this logarithmic expression, we will have this equation. Now we may rewrite this equation in terms of fractional errors as instead of dx, we can write as plus or minus dx by delta x by x equal to plus or minus n into delta A by A minus, because it started minus 1, therefore we will write minus plus m into delta B by B. So therefore, maximum value of delta x by x equal to plus or minus n into delta A by A plus m into delta B by B. So therefore, from this we can say that the fractional error or relative error in a quantity is raised to power, let us say n times, is n times the fractional relative error in the quantity itself. Now, because the error multiplies n times, therefore in any formula, the quantity with maximum power should be measured with highest degree of accuracy, that is with least error. We know that no measurement is perfect. So in describing the imperfection, we come across two factors. One is called measurements accuracy, the other one is measurements precision. Though these terms are often used interchangeably, but they have a specific meaning. Let us understand something called accuracy. Accuracy is the extent to which a reported measurement approaches the true value of quantity measured. So accuracy is the extent to which a reported measurement approaches the true value of a quantity measured. Problems with accuracy are due to errors. For example, human error can occur in reading an instrument or recording the results. The best way to avoid human error is to take repeated measurements and to ascertain that they are consistent. Sometimes there is method error, which can be greatly reduced by standardizing the method of taking measurements. Yet another type of error is instrumental error, which may be due to imperfection of the design and erroneous manufacturing of the instrument. Poor accuracy involves errors that can often be corrected. Because we reduce the errors, measurements accuracy increases. there is something called precision. Precision is nothing but the degree of exactness or refinement of measurement. In fact, precision describes the limitations of the measuring instrument. So, therefore, precision describes how exact an instrument can possibly be. For example, if you are measuring, let us say 4.382 meters is a more precise measurement than 4.3 meters. So, lack of precision is typically due to limitations of the measuring instrument, and it's not the result of human error or lack of calibration. In fact, measurement's precision is determined by the least count of the measuring instruments. Smaller the least count, greater is the precision. For example, least count of a vernier calipers is often 0.01 centimeters, and least count of a screw gauge or a speedometer is often 0.001 centimeters. So, therefore, measurements of small lengths using a screw gauge or a speedometer will be more precise than the same measurement using a vernier calipers. Similarly, a screw gauge with least count 0.0005 centimeters will be more precise than the one with least count 0.001 centimeters. This is what we can understand from as far as accuracy and precision are concerned. So, if you summarize in this session, we looked at errors of measurement in terms of types of errors like systematic errors, random errors, and gross errors. And systematic errors also, we have seen instrumental errors, personal errors, errors due to imperfection, errors due to external causes, and then absolute errors, relative error, and percentage error. And also we have seen combination of errors, errors in summing of quantities, errors in difference of quantities, error in product of quantities, error in division of quantities. Similarly, error in raising the power to an index. And general approaches and formulas we have seen, and also tried to understand something called accuracy and precision. So, this is what we have learned in this session, and that completes the basics of 11th class physical world and measurement.